Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is Wednesday, September 9th, 2020, and this is the Flight Sim News. It's been a little bit quiet over the past few days, but I have to admit I'm really surprised by the traffic I was getting out of the last Flight Sim News. Had a lot to do with maybe the A10-2 announcement, or A10C2, I'm not sure, but since then, it's been kind of quiet, and the thing that popped up, and I've seen kind of in various online forums, is the fact that some DCS players have recognized that the early access tag is missing from the Harrier now, and it's caused a little bit of an uproar. There's a post here over on the Eagle Dynamics forums where they're like, hey, you know, some of us recognized early access tags missing. The Harrier is full of bugs, missing functionality, wrong implementations, and does not even have a full manual. This step would not be understandable, especially as it seems to be done silent without any announcement. So is the actual state of the Harrier now considered as finished by Razbam, and is it also approved by Ed? Another guy goes on to say, out of early access does not equate finished or complete in DCS these days. This was discussed at length when the Focke-Wulf 190A8 left early access back in spring. So, as usual, the villagers have their pitchforks and torches ready, and it's kind of sad, really. I get it. I really do. You know, I realize that the Harrier has some issues, and then Big Nui steps in and says, "What?" Somebody else started going on about the Hornet, and he steps in and he's like, "What? The F-18C has a manual and is being updated as new features are added. I don't see why you have to constantly talk the work being done down. It's getting a bit tiresome now. The topic here is the AV-8B. Please stick to it." And then he goes on to make a post, I believe this is later on that day, or actually a few minutes after. And it says, "Hi all, the AV-8B feature list is complete. Product sustainment continues, however." So, I don't have a problem with that. You know, there's a lot of games that are complete that still have issues that have to be ironed out and or worked on. And I think that, you know, Eagle Dynamics is fair in stating that, look, here is the feature list, and the feature list is complete, regardless if there are some bugs, which I'm sure there are. But then this guy goes on to point out things in red and blah, 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 blah. And Big Nui says, as mentioned, out of early access, but continued product sustainment. Bugs, if verified, will be addressed. On one hand, I understand the frustration with a lot of people out there that, you know, none of this stuff is cheap, man. $60, $70, $80 for a module that isn't done yet, that they continue to add things to. And then at the same time, when you think about it, these aren't even complete products. These are just a module. This isn't like the old days with Jane's Combat Simulations when you put out your $60 and you got a game that had like a campaign, a whole bunch of missions, and pretty much a complete product. However, in their defense, back in those days, if you bought that complete product, they would issue a patch to fix something if it was broken, usually. So, I get it, but again, I think it's just a case of the vocal majority, you know, rearing their ugly heads again and shaking their pitchforks and torches and ready to give Ed a hard time. And if there just wasn't so many products that weren't finished, I think their argument would be less valid. But at the same time, in Eagle Dynamics' defense, you know, Big Nui pretty much makes it clear that, hey, you know, there's early access, there's a complete product that has a complete feature list that is completed, and we're going to sustain the product from here on out. So, again, I'll throw this in there so you can check it out for yourself. But I still enjoy the Harrier, so even with the issues that it has, All right, next up is friend of the channel, Iain Christie again. And this time out, he's getting into Desert Wings. And it's the Fighter Fly-Off Part 1. And he basically put together a mission, and he's flying these various fighters in the same scenario, back to back, and comparing how well the planes handle. And there are so many different planes in Desert Wings to Brook that this is a pretty cool thing to do, and there's enough to keep him busy for a while, I'd imagine.
YouTube, Sidekick here, and today I'm in IL-2 Stormovik Desert Wings, and I'm in a Kitty Hawk. We're taking off out of Tobruk. Got a little project on the go here. I want to make some more historical missions in Desert Wings, but while I'm doing the research for that, I thought I needed some things to help me get familiar with the engine and with the airplanes and with the mission editor, so we're going to do a little experiment here. There we go, that was better. And back across. Yeah, I think he's done for. So same thing, we dive down, get to carry lots of speed, nice and smooth, pull back up, we go right back up past them, lots of climb, lots of speed left to roll over. I think we have, what, 4 303s and a couple of 20 mils? Not bad, but you know, not really any more impressive than those 50 cals were with the Kitty Hawk. That's interesting.
Another absolutely outstanding video here from Iain, and I'm really enjoying this one. And Iain thanks me for getting him back into Desert Wings to Brook, I guess, from what he was saying. I made a couple comments over here on this video. And it's always a joy to interact with people in the community. And he's a pretty cool guy. Me and him have talked on and off here and there. And he does some pretty cool stuff with these videos. And I look forward to seeing what his next Desert Wings video is. And I'm really enjoying the comparisons that he's putting together. And with Desert Wings to Brook, there is so many planes and so many variants to choose from that this one will probably keep him busy for a while now. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. Now, this popped up last week, and I swear when I saw this, I thought it was old, but I guess it's not. So the Developer Diary 244 is out, and in it, for IL-2 Stormovik Great Battles series, they highlight the C-47. What I never understood, though, is why on Steam does the Developer Diary come out sooner sometimes. Like if I go to their website, sometimes the Steam version comes out way before the standalone Dev Diary from their website. Kind of weird. I'll throw a link in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. Alright, the next day, Iain's busting out a video on the Harrier.
Morning, YouTube. Well, the balloon has finally gone up here in Saudi. The ultimatum to the Iraqis occupying Kuwait expired last night. And it sounds like the Air Force and the Navy wasted no time in getting the party started after that. For us, we got a call to do some close air support this morning. We were waiting on the runway in quick reaction mode when we got a call about the enemy artillery shelling some of our forward positions, so we're on our way to see what we can do about that.
This really makes me want to jump in there and fly the Harrier again. I haven't touched this thing for a while, but this is a really fun video. It's almost 12 minutes long. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. So as I've been looking for cool things to do in Microsoft Flight Simulator, I happened to find this one. It's Godzilla for Microsoft Flight Simulator. How freaking cool is that? The king of all monsters. It looks like he's set up in San Francisco Bay. Look at the rainbow in the background. That's pretty funny. So that is pretty freaking awesome. I'm going to download this and give it a shot. But I've been looking for some different mods and stuff for Flight Simulator, like various planes and whatnot. I tried the F-18 out, and it didn't really work too well for me. It seems like it takes forever and a day just to get up in the air off the runway. And but if you guys know of any cool military jets that I can fly in Flight Simulator that are modeled rather well, I'd love to try it. But other than that, this is going to be one that I'm definitely going to jump in and try out. It's Gojira! Gojira! I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. Now here's another interesting video I saw from Commander Steinsch. I probably pronounced that wrong and butchered the shit out of it. What he does is he observes the differences in performance by playing around with the RAM speeds between 1600, 2400, and 3200 megahertz. And some of the results are interesting. I mean, this is common sense, to be honest. If your RAM is, 3000 or 3200 megahertz, you want to run it at that speed. You really do. Some RAM is less tolerant than others. Sometimes you can have something that's, 3000 that might run reliably at 3200. And then you might get some 3000 that just might not play nice at 3000. But I think the thing to remember is buy quality memory when you buy it. Don't buy some brand that is just nobody has ever heard of. Stick with some quality brands, and I think you'll be fine for the most part. But again, it comes down to, does your motherboard support that? Make sure when you put your memory in the first time, they're properly in the proper slots. For dual channel to work, you have to have them in the proper slots, and sometimes that is not just, you don't just occupy the first two available slots on the motherboard. They have to have a space in between them, or depending on the motherboard, the configuration can be different. I found that out the hard way when I built an AMD machine for my son about a year ago. I was wondering why I couldn't get it to post and run reliably at the proper speed that it was advertised as, and they were just in the wrong slots. But if you run it at the higher speed through an XMP profile or whatever AMD calls theirs, of course you're going to get a little bit better performance. But again, if you're curious to see what these numbers look like, the video's about 6 minutes long, and it is a nice overview. Again, it does give you an idea of what the possibilities are if you just put your memory in your machine and you don't touch the BIOS. And a lot of people may very well do that who aren't that experienced with PC hardware. You could be running your machine right now at whatever speed it defaults to, which is usually the lowest speed. That it's not going to load that XMP profile on its own usually. So it's something you may want to look into. I will throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. Now here's another video that I found, and it was thanks to a viewer who I was talking to that helped me out with another topic, and it was Paul Jepson. This is a World War II forward air controller mod for DCS World.
Hi all, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we'll cover the new mod that I've created, which is the new World War II JTAC. In light of the P-47 coming out, I've expanded an old mod and it now includes the following. So here is an infantry soldier, so it's a World War II FAC US soldier. We also have a British option and a German option. The other potential options that we have are in the armour section, and we've got a World War II FAC Willys Jeep and also a World War II FAC Kubelwagen. So it covers both Allied. So I'm going to call. Contact. I'm going to orbit a little bit here. Get a good strafing run down that main road.
This is pretty cool. It's about 10 minutes long. It looks like a pretty fantastic mod for the World War II stuff in DCS. And if you want to get into a little bit more interactive close air support type missions in DCS World War II planes, this looks like the way to do it. Way to go, Paul. This looks pretty fantastic. I'm going to have to download it and check it out for myself. And I'm going to throw a link in there so any of you viewers could do the same and thank Paul for showing it to me if it's something you end up liking. But I think it's pretty cool. But that's about it, guys. So as always, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Feel free to hit that like button. And until next time, guys.